Hey there, planners. I'm back today with another book review. This one for a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. This is, again, an ongoing self-study that I'm doing and deep dive into productivity and time management and just kind of taking away all that I can, soaking it up, and sharing with you as I go. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so this is the second round of book review that I'm sharing with you. The first round I'll have linked down below where I talk about kind of this self-study that I'm on, kind of absorbing. I've got a list of over 30 books that I want to read that are all focused on productivity strategies and time management strategies and how to be more efficient and just all of those things, and kind of learning all the different techniques and seeing what is applicable and sharing with you the things that I am taking away from these books. So next on the list was Deep Work by Cal Newport. I'm excited to share my thoughts with you about this book. But before I dive in, let me just say, if you are new to Planning Annie, welcome. I'm super excited that you're here. If you enjoy planning supplies, being effective and efficient with our time, getting things done while also being creative, and enjoying all of the stickers and journals and pens and all of those things, then you've definitely found the right place and the right tribe. We are a group of planner enthusiasts who love to share our ideas with each other, so I would highly encourage you to always check out the comments on my videos. Planning Annie subscribers share a lot of great ideas there, and you can get a lot of value out of those as well. I hope that you will consider subscribing and becoming part of our community, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm excited to share with you another round of book review. So Deep Work, it is classified as a self-help book, and it really explores the importance and benefits of focus, staying focused and minimizing distractions, which is a state which Cal calls deep work. So there's an argument here about, today's distracted, busy world, and that it's, becoming increasingly difficult to concentrate on task, especially if they are demanding task and demanding work. And as a result, that we're actually losing our ability as a society to produce valuable work, which is quite a statement if you think about it. Are we, as a large group, actually unable to produce the valuable work that we used to at some point in time in history? So very interesting concept, and the author believes that this is somewhat of a crisis and has provided in this book strategies and techniques to help you, the reader, develop the skill of being able to enter into deep work. So that's kind of the premise of the book. I will say I think it is relevant. It's a very relevant topic. I agree that there's a lot of distraction, seems like more and more distractions, and it is harder and harder to concentrate. I agree with all of that. I'm not sure I agree that it is quite the crisis that the author presents, but I do think it is an important issue, especially if you are needing to work on valuable things, either for your family or your employer or your volunteer work, whatever it is that you're needing to really dive into and concentrate on and have that focused time. I think that there are some strategies here that can help you do that. So a couple of strategies and techniques include things like developing the skill of deep work, minimizing distractions, scheduling focused time, and creating a distraction-free environment. Now, all of those sound like no-brainers, right? Of course, you would do that to concentrate. So I think there are some good takeaways here, and I'll talk about those, but I also think there's a little bit about this book that is a little bit like no-brainer, right? I didn't find any like revolutionary, wow, eye-opening things in here. I found some very practical techniques to take away, to apply. And almost like a reminder, you know, like a back to basics type reminder. That's kind of how I felt about this book. So obviously the book highlights the benefits of deep work, you know, improve productivity, improve creativity, and there's a lot of discussion about it's not just for, you know, it's for creative types, but also for, you know, all other types of, you know, more technical jobs. Some of the benefits of deep work include job satisfaction, and that it really is applicable across all fields. It's not just about, you know, the creative artists needing to be distraction free to be creative. So I think that's important too, that the concepts, according to the author, really are applicable across the board. So, all right, let me talk about what some of my key takeaways are. And I showed last time how I am approaching this self-study. I will read through, highlight, and then extract those highlights into Notion. And I'm sort of building a second brain in Notion, and with some of the key takeaways there and action items that I want to take out of the book. So if you're interested in seeing more about that, go check out the video I'll have linked down below. Here's kind of the key takeaways for me from this book. First of all, deep work, the concept of being able to enter in the state of deep work is really important if we want to produce, you know, high quality, valuable work that has a lasting impact. Okay. So I think that's the key takeaway. And in order to achieve that, you cannot just expect that to come. You actually have to take action and develop the skill set to be able to enter into a state of deep work and accomplishing deep work. And you have to deal with both the internal distractions and the external distractions, because there are both. So it requires really being able to deal with both of those. It's more than just like spending time. I think that's really key. You can't just expect to, you know, I'm just going to buckle down and devote more hours to whatever I'm working on. It requires more than just that. It's not just for creative professionals, but it's for anybody who is working on important things, you know, that are that have high value. You know, it's not just for artists and creative professional writers, things. It's more than just for that. And it does require intentionality about how you structure and use your time and your environment. So again, internal and external, really dealing with both of those. So some of the things I'm going to take away for this, first of all, I think it's important to identify what requires deep work. So as I think about my professional life and my personal life, there are certain areas that require deep work in order to get the most value. And then there are much more administrative sort of, you know, life management tasks that don't require. Creating a meal plan for the next week does not require deep work. I can do that while also watching an episode of, you know, Daisy Jones and the Six. So I need to kind of define and think through what actually requires deep work. That's going to be one step that I take. In thinking about managing both the internal and external distractions, I also think identifying what those are. What are the internal distractions? Things like mental wandering and, you know, things that I've talked a lot about. The reason why I like to do brain dumps so much is because it gets those to-do lists out of my head. If you have ever experienced laying down to go to sleep and that's when all the things you need to do come to mind, you are a prime candidate to start using brain dumps, because the reason those are coming to mind is because you haven't safely put them in a system somewhere where your brain is trusting they're not going to be lost. So they keep coming up out of your subconscious. So, you know, like identifying both the internal and external distractions, what are those? And then developing some strategies for how to create that distraction-free environment, whether that's at home or at work. Maybe it's investing in a good set of noise-canceling headphones. You know, maybe it's investing in, you know, some sort of timer that prompts me to use the Pomodoro method, where I'm engaging deeply for this amount of time and then taking a break. So I also think scheduling deep work, once I have identified what it is that requires deep work, making sure that I have that scheduled, because that's going to be time that I have to carve out and change my environment. And so being able to schedule that, I think, is going to be important. One thing I really thought was interesting from the book is this concept of embracing boredom. So allowing yourself to be bored and resist the urge to constantly seek stimulation. And this gives you the opportunity to let your brain be more creative. So if I think about, like, when do good ideas come? Sometimes they come like when I'm driving to work or in the shower, but more and more I find myself tempted to like fill those spaces with podcast or, just fill those spaces with different things. And I'm not really allowing my mind to just have quiet, undistracted time. And that's kind of where those good ideas are generated, in that quiet, undistracted time. So I thought that was a really powerful concept, and I want to kind of do a little bit of inventory of how much time am I allowing for my brain just to not have input, some external stimulation. Am I giving myself time to be bored and just sit? And for a type A personality, maybe you can relate to this. That's really hard for me to do. It's really hard for me to just sit and have nothing. That feels like very non-productive time. But this book had some good thoughts around that actually being really important. Okay, so those are my key takeaways. If you have read the book, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. What do you think about the book? What did you take away? I think it's a really good book. I think there are some concrete strategies that you can put in place. I've got some things that I want to do out of reading this book. And I think a little bit of it is kind of no-nonsense stuff, good reminders, but I do think it is helpful to prompt you to take some action if you find yourself needing to really be able to produce high-quality work amid a very distracted world. So that's my thoughts on the book. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. Hopefully you are continuing to enjoy this type of video. It's a little bit different video than I normally do, but hopefully this is valuable to you. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.